Hello, hello, everyone. I'm here. Hi, fellas. Another weekend has come and gone, or another week has come and gone. And again, I accomplished nothing throughout the week, like normal lately. But a very good reason why. Had to work, of course, and time off of work has been spent trying to get that new car up and working and running and figured out, and a lot of things need to get done to it. So it was about ready for Uber, and I went out Thursday night and drove late into the night. Went to work Friday, got off work, came home, and went and did Uber again Friday night until, I don't know, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then went out yesterday and was out until about, 3 o'clock. So I'm back to making money on Uber again, which honestly, this was a good weekend. A very good weekend. I almost hit $1,000 this weekend. Almost. No, Phyllis, I was busy working. I was busy driving. Saturday was, actually, they did it Friday because they ended up doing it a day early because of the potential flooding in Los Angeles. So, which to me is still the stupidest idea NASCAR has ever done. Let's turn a track and field coliseum into a NASCAR track for a weekend. Dumbest thing I've ever heard. Hey, Dreamer. I think they still need to do the they need to do the shootout at Daytona where it's always been. No, we're going to do this little tiny track that you could run around on foot inside of a stadium. Yeah, not too bad. Overall total, I've made, I think it was like 9, well, counting the cash tips that I got, 960-ish. Yeah, not too bad. I did not even watch the last few races of the playoffs. I really didn't. Because it seems to me Sunday right now, even when, before I got the car and now started going back to doing Uber and stuff, weekends for me, the only day I really had to myself to be able to watch things, catch up on stuff on YouTube, anything like that, has always been on Sunday. And so it's just like, I don't get that free time to watch the race anymore. And I want to. Don't get me wrong. Hey, Redneck SU81, RAGC, musical symbols. We're doing great. I'm glad to see you're here. Yeah, Dreamer, I went back and started doing Uber this weekend. I started Thursday night, went back and went out for the first time Thursday night and drove Thursday night, Friday night, and pretty much most of the day yesterday. It started surging real heavy because they have here on campus in February, it's kind of the beginning of what they call darty season, which means day party. They call them darties. And they do a thing in February called Darty Gras, which is where several of the frats at a time will have a big day party where they fence off their front yard with a black fence that you can't see through, and they erect a stage and have DJ or band or something like that, and pretty much most of the student body goes to one or the other, and it's just mass chaos. So 2 of them yesterday had darties, and one of them started at noon. So it started surging here real big at 11 o'clock. So Paul and I just woke up because we've been out late Friday night driving. And we just woke up, and Paul was like, look at the map. And I'm like, oh, man, I wasn't even close to ready to going out yet, man. There's so much stuff I got to do to this car today. I haven't had a chance to clean it up or anything. I want to do the windows. He says, man, we just need to get out there and make money. So we went out and we hit the surge until it died at like 3 rides. I did like $40 and it surge died. So we called up another Uber driver we know, and she came along and we all went out to lunch together. And they went out and started driving again. I went home and I cleaned my windows and I cleaned out the car a little bit. It still needs a good vacuuming. Did a little bit of just cleaning and fixing things that needed to be fixed on it. That, it was a used car. And the person who had it before us obviously had a bunch of kids. And it's a minivan. So you figure what a minivan after a bunch of kids looks like, I got you, rednecks. Well, welcome to the channel. We just kind of sit here and chit-chat, and I kind of try to work on this a little bit when I have a chance, but most of the time I start out with chit-chatting a lot. So I came home, I started doing all of that, and one thing I needed to do, because I discovered Friday night that for whatever reason, I couldn't see more than about 3 feet in front of me with my headlights on. So I thought my headlights were just adjusted wrong. So I said, I need to adjust my headlights. Well, I turned them on, and I get out of the truck or get out of the van to go see, and the headlights aren't even on. There's nothing coming out of the headlights. The fog lights are on. I'm like, well, okay. So that's all I was seeing with the past couple of nights is just the fog lights. Well, that's not good. I need headlights. So I do a little bit of Googling and find out that the Kia Sedona, chances are you just got 2 blown headlight bulbs because they tend to blow at the same time. So I went to Walmart, picked up a couple of the best ones they had at Walmart. I was going to go to AutoZone and pick the best ones up they have there, which are the LEDs, but I'm going to save up and invest in those later. But I got some of the best ones, the Sylvania Ultra Silver Star, I don't know what they are, but they're the brightest, whitest ones, and so I, right there in the Walmart parking lot, changed my my headlight bulbs out. And then I went out driving, and I drove. It was non-stop. I didn't get back out till 5 o'clock, and from 5 o'clock until almost 3 o'clock the next morning, it was non-stop till 3 o'clock this morning. Just one ride right after the other. As soon as I pick one up, it's pinging me my next one to go pick up on the way. And, of course, they're all drunk from these day parties. And on top of that, Alabama had a basketball game last night. And so where the frats are, we go to the backside of the frats to pick up on 4th Avenue. And they come out to the street and meet us from the backside of the frats. Well, across the street from those frats is a big, giant parking lot. And that's where they usually park people for the basketball games, and they shuttle bus them over to the Coliseum. And when they do that, they block off that section of 4th Avenue that spans the length of that parking lot. So they weren't letting us get in to go get our riders that were, and now the day party is getting out in 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the evening. They're letting out. They're done. They're done with their party for the day. And all of them are trying to leave and go elsewhere, and they're all trying to catch an Uber, and they won't let Uber into the area where these kids are at coming out of this party. And, of course, we're trying to ride around trying to figure out how to get there. It's a traffic jam at the barricade. All Uber drivers, it must have been 20, 30 Uber drivers piled up at this barricade trying to maneuver around each other and everything else. And the guard is just not letting Uber come through. So we ended up having to go into the parking lot, go all the way to the other end, and then come back towards our side up along the front of the parking lot. And then we had to call our drunk passenger, and tell them where we're at. And then they can come meet us. Hey, Laurel. So yeah, that was just pure chaos for like an hour and a half. And then the rest of the night was just, after that basketball game ended, everybody went to the Strip and they were partying. Well, of course, the only place in the Strip to stop and drop off and pick up is either if you're coming eastbound on University, all of the bars and stuff are on the right-hand side, and the side shoulder there beside the curb, they've blocked that off only for Uber and, like DoorDash pickups from the restaurants there and stuff. But the problem is in town there's this little service. It's kind of like an Uber, but it's a golf carts, and it's called Joyride. And the joy rides are just piled up in that side, so you can't pull off to the side there. And the cops are parked in the middle turn lane, even though there's nowhere to turn in that section of University. There's a middle lane there. The cops are parked nose to tail in that middle lane instead of being parked over in the Publix parking lot. And so there's nowhere for us to stop in University, and people are just stopping in the middle of the street to pick riders up instead of pulling off the side street somewhere and calling the passengers, saying, hey, meet me over here. I didn't want to stop in the middle and block traffic. No, they stop in the middle of the street and sit there with their four-ways on, blocking traffic, waiting for a rider to come. That these riders don't care how long they keep you waiting. They'll order the Uber in the bar, you'll get there, and they'll still be staying in there finishing a third beer before they come out the door. And so it was a mess. I just got to the point by like 2 o'clock where I was starting to get irritable, like really irritable. Like, this van has automatic sliding doors on both sides, and these kids constantly are grabbing it. And then when they pull the handle and they're trying to pull it by hand to close it, and I'm like, no, stop, stop! I've got it. Leave it alone. Or I'll reach up to open the door myself with the button over my head. There's 2 buttons right up in the center over my head. And I'll reach up to hit that button, but they've already beat me to it and already pulled the thing. So now, I'm closing it and they're trying to open it, and it's just a mess. I'm just like, leave my door alone. I'll deal with it. Leave it alone. But yeah, still a lot of fun. I had a blast. Did have one girl last night. I had got the ping to pick her up while I was in the Pride prior to hers. And I accepted the ride, went and dropped off the passengers. I was coming back to get her, and I was right up the street from her, like 3 blocks. She calls me. She goes, when are you coming? It was raining last night. It was just starting to rain. It's kind of starting to get cold. And she was like, when are you going to get here? I'm like, I'm 3 blocks from you. Oh, can you please hurry up? It's sleeting out here, and I'm cold. I'm like, well, it's not sleeting, but it's raining. But yeah, I get it. Okay, I'll be there. Like, I'm 3 blocks away. She goes, oh, and instead of meeting us at the bar, can you meet us over in front of the courthouse there? There's some place you can pull off, and we'll come over there and meet you. I was like, okay, I can do that. So I pull up there at those empty parking spots in front of the courthouse, and I'm sitting there with the door open, 4 ways on, waiting on them to come get in the car, and they're over there like walking around in the grass like they're drunk or something, which they probably most of the way were. She comes running over to the van, and she says, hey, I'll be out in a minute. I have my mom's engagement ring that she gave me on my pinky, and I felt it fall off right over there, and we're looking for it. I'm like, oh, okay, great. It's in the middle of a good surge, and I'm sitting here waiting on them. And I got tired of waiting, kind of. And I got out of the van, and I walked over with my phone. I turned the flashlight on. I started walking around trying to help them find it, thinking, if we can just get out of here quicker. Sure enough, I actually found her ring for her. She was like so happy. She wanted to buy me Taco Bell. I dropped her off at Taco Bell, and she wanted to buy me Taco Bell. And I was like, no, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't want no Taco Bell at 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, if I'd been drunk and drinking, yeah, I'll take Taco Bell at 2 o'clock in the morning. But that's pretty much how my weekend went. So now this is the first time I've actually got to sit down and relax all weekend, like since Thursday. It's just been nonstop. Get off work, go drive. Get off, it's been... This week, I'm going to take the car and get it washed, because all this rain ain't helping nothing. Take the car and get it washed. I've already done the windows. And there's a few more things I need to do inside. I need to really detail the inside of it, because it has not been done. And like I said, and it's been done, but very crudely. Just somebody just went over it real quick. They didn't get down into cracks and crevices and the spots on the floor where the seats hook in and stuff. All of that still got all of what you would expect from, a 2015 car with 100,000 miles that had kids, a minivan. So I've got to get that mess cleaned up. And then I have on Wednesday, I have a disco ball that's going to mount to my center console behind me. I think I'm going to just put Velcro down and Velcro it to it so I can take it off and pull it out. And then when we get rid of this car, I can just peel the Velcro off. I've got that. coming in, and then I have lights. It's 4 strips of 12-inch strips of lights, and they're all wired together properly so that one plug plugs into the cigarette lighter plug, and then it sends it out to all 4 of the strips at one time, and they're addressable LED strips. So it means that each individual LED can be operated independent of all the others in the strip. And so you can create all kinds of cool effects with it, like, the thing sweeping back and forth with different colors and stuff like that. And you can set it all to music. So those are going under my dash in the float wells, and underneath the front seats, the back side of the front seats, so that it'll light up the back floor well for the people in the first row seating back there. And like I said, it's all set to react to the music and everything. And so that's what I actually pulled up. This is what I was working on. And why is this so small? Oh, my goodness. Oh, I know why. Hold on a second. Let's bring that down a little bit. That's why. Let's make that a little bit smaller. Oh, now it's too small. There we go. There, that's got it. Now y'all can see the whole thing. This is the order I've got coming in. I got these lights right here. And if you go down, there is some video for it. It kind of shows them working with the sound. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And then I have the disco ball. I think those are really cool. I want to get one of these. I can't wait to get these disco balls. So yeah, those are coming in Wednesday, so I'm gonna go ahead and install those Wednesday. And let's go back to, there we go. So yeah, that's my week. Just trying to get the car ready, and that way maybe by Thursday everything will be ready to go, and I can go drive Thursday night. Paul will not be coming down this coming weekend, so it's going to be on me to just go out and drive on my own. In fact, he just left just before I went live. He left, and then I went and got something to drink, and I got back home just in time to get ready to start the live up. Because I was out of stuff to drink here at the house. And so I guess I told y'all that I was offered a different position at the office at work, and that I accepted it. And I was supposed to start like the end of last year sometime, like November, December. Can't remember. And it just seems like every time we got somebody trained for it, or get somebody hired to be trained to take over that spot, somebody else would quit. So that I would have to wait and wait and wait, and I'm still waiting. We had, this past week, got to work on, I don't even know what day it was, but I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, because I had just got done spending 4 days training another new guy. And the day he was hired, he was supposed to be taking over my spot. Well, the first day he rode with me, his first day of training with me, one of the other pest control techs decided he wanted to move over to the termite side where he started at. And so they moved him back over, so now the guy I trained is going to take his spot. And they've got another new guy coming in soon who is supposed to train for my position, or was supposed to train for my position. However, this past week we had another tech, the tech that had been there the longest of anybody. He was there like, I don't know how many years, but he was there when it was the previous company, before Arrow bought him out and turned it into Stark. So he was there a long time. He was one of the last people left besides our service manager. He was one of the last ones left from the old company, and he quit this week. So now the new guy that just got hired and is supposed to start is going to take his spot, which means I'm still running a pest control route for the next month at least, probably sometime into March before the other guy takes over. I want to say the first, which was what, Thursday? Thursday, yeah. Thursday was my 1-year anniversary with this company. Woohoo! And because of that guy quitting this week, I am now the most senior tech on the staff. I've been there longer than anybody else, except for one other guy who started a few days after me. So him and I are both the most senior techs on the staff. And the funny part is we're both senior to everybody else in age, too. Is my chat still working? Wait. Let me put it on live chat. Okay. I don't see my chat updating. I don't know if it is or if it isn't. YouTube. That's the only thing with OBS. OBS, I'm not actually watching the feed. Like, I'm not able to watch it on the YouTube channel. So, I'm watching it through OBS, and I never know if it's connected or if it's working or what. Let me go to my channel. Click my live. Oh, and let me mute my audio there so I'm not listening to myself talk 20 seconds later. Yeah, y'all are got a 20-second delay. I was timing that up with that timer I had at the beginning before I actually turned the mic on and flipped over to the camera. I used that timer, and I opened up YouTube on the browser, and I went to this live stream, and I was watching it in the browser, and it was literally 20 seconds behind. Like, so what I was seeing on YouTube was 20 seconds older than what I was seeing in OBS live. Beth is folding laundry. Well, hello, Beth, and hello, Sherry. Long time no see, Beth. I hope you're okay. I almost didn't have any voice to do this because I lost my voice Saturday night. It was real bad. Just because of the music, and drunk college kids are not quiet by any stretch of the imagination. And when you get a carload of 7 and 8 of them, and they'll try to cram as many people into that XL car as they can. My XL is supposed to only hold 7. It's got third row seating, 3 across the back. It's only supposed to have it doesn't have a bench seat for the second row, so it's only got 2 captain's chairs, and I've got the 2 up front chairs. So I've only got 1, 2, counting myself. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got enough to seat 7 fully. Means 6 passengers, and they will bring 9. I actually had them try to fit 10 in there the other night. I really don't like when they do that, but you know, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. My team lost another claim rep this week, resigned immediately on Friday. All y'all thought I was working crazy hours before. You know what? It's, I don't know. I mean, I understand why our guy left. I know the deal behind all of that, and I understand it, but it kind of really hurts at a bad time, you know? And Dreamer, I could do that, but I don't want to become, because these kids talk. These kids talk. They get on Instagram, they get on Snapchat, and they talk. You don't want to become the Uber driver that's not the nice guy. Because then as soon as you pop up on their thing, they'll cancel their ride and you won't get no rides. And all the other ones let them do it. So, you know, I don't mind that they do. What I don't like is they try to be sneaky about it. Just tell me, hey, man, can you fit 10 in here? If I say no, that I can't fit 10, then, you know, most of the time they would say, yeah, that's fine. You know, we'll do whatever, or they'll split it up and somebody else get a separate Uber or whatever. But I don't mind if they do, as long as they're not tearing stuff up trying to fit that many people in. I don't care, you know. Don't knock over my disco ball that's plugged into the USB back there on the back side of the center console just because you're trying to fit that many people in there. And then don't complain when my little disco ball is shining right in your eyes because you're sitting in a spot that wasn't meant for somebody to sit in. And that's what happened. They'd sit them in there, and the guy tries to sit on the floor in between the 2 captain's chairs, and that little light is shining right in his face, and he's sitting there complaining, hold on, can we just get rid of this thing? No, that's mine. It's in my car. Everybody else likes it, so get used to it. They're still a lot of fun. Most of them are really fun. It just depends on what time of the night they pull a stunt like that, and how drunk they are when they do it. Because if it's late at night and I'm getting down to the end of the night and they're all really drunk and they're acting like fools, I'm liable to be kind of irritable with them and say something the wrong way. I've noticed that I've gotten older, my patience has not kept up very well. Oh, yeah. You know what, Dreamer? And that's what a lot of people complain about. A lot of people complain, oh, these people never tip. These people never tip. I can go through my app right now and I can show you out of the 98 rides I've done this weekend. I did 98 rides this weekend. Let me fire my phone up. My battery died on me. I had it on charge all day. Haven't started it back up. But 98 rides I did. I'm gonna say 3/4 of them tipped. Some of them will not tip until next weekend when they get an Uber and they open up the Uber app and it prompts them that did you tip your last driver, and they'll probably tip then. That's what usually happens. Is some of them will tip right away. Some of them will tip when they get home. and they get settled in. But a lot of them will wait until the next time they have to open the app to get an Uber, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't tip him last time," So I did get a $20 tip on Friday night. I think Friday night I got a $20 tip on a $5 ride. So yeah, I can't complain about the tipping part. I mean, I got quite a bit. I made quite a bit in tips this weekend. Plus, I got a $20 tip in cash for returning a phone. A $10 tip in cash from. Actually, it was a $10 tip in cash from one of the guys that was part of one of the parties that he wasn't the one that ordered the Uber. He was just one of the passengers. But that was one of the ones that tried to stuff like 10 in the car. As he was getting out, he slid me a $10 bill. So, you know what? I don't complain. So, yeah, that's one thing I will say about these students. Most of them tip pretty well. They're not complete jerks. Some of them got some sense. Oh, come on and open up. Do, 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 do. It says I'm offline. And I can't go online until I choose which car I want to use. Preferred vehicle. Kia Sedona. Confirm. Okay, now it says I'm ready to go online. Earnings. There we go. Oh, I got another $1 tip since the last time I checked it this morning. Because it was $931.74. So yeah, I drove for 21 hours and 54 minutes this weekend. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. If you can see there. And that's much I made. I did 98 trips. I can go to a summary. Yep. That's my balance summary from my... It doesn't break it down, I don't think, anywhere that shows me how many tips I get, how many tips I got versus whatever. I don't think there's a breakdown for that. Let me go to see details. See if it shows that. I earned $111.31. So out of that $900 and some dollars, $932, $111.31 of that is tips. Man, this phone. Let me turn my notifications off there. Okay. Yeah, and then I go into my earnings activity and I can see it trip by trip. Oh, wait a minute. Feature, tips, turn off surge, apply. Okay, there's all the ones that tipped out of 98 rides. Those are all the ones that tipped me. And that's still right there. Yep. $932.74. With yesterday being the big day, I made $437.76. Just yesterday alone. I made like 200 and something, 260 Friday night and like 230 on Thursday night. Well, that helped me financially, of course. It's doubling my income. Basically, doing Uber now, is going to basically double my income. I'm making the same amount driving 3 nights a week on Uber for 2 weeks as what I make working my regular job for the same amount of time. So actually, I'm working my regular job a little bit longer to earn the same amount because my job is not 2 weeks, it's 15 days. So I'm working a day more, well, a day more than 2 weeks at my regular job because I get paid there. I get my pay periods are from the 1st to the 15th and then the 16th till the last day of the month, whichever that is, 31st, 30th, 28th, 29th, whatever. So I've only got 2 pay periods a month. And Uber is, I go out every weekend. The money is in my account as soon as I finish the ride. And if I make $900 a weekend and I do that 2 weekends in a row, I pretty much made exactly the same amount that I make at my job in that same amount of time. So yeah, I'm going to be making double the money at least until May when the students leave, and then it dies down here. I probably will not be going to Birmingham in the summer times, simply because just my job, and by the time I get off of work and get down there, and the fact that it's an hour drive either way, and I just wouldn't make me enough time to make much money and make it worth the gas that I spend going down there and back. So maybe on weekends, I might go down and do some of the weekend trips and stuff on weekends, but I probably won't do a whole lot of driving throughout the summer down there. But yeah, during the school year, making double the income, and so that means I'll have money left over. I'll be able to put some away. I probably won't need to drive in the summertime. If you figure between now and May, so I still got all the rest of February, and then March, April, and part of May. Yeah, I can put some bucks away. Which I am saving towards that Appalachian Trail through hike in 2026. So I haven't spoke to Jordan in a while. I'm hoping maybe we're still on for that. I don't know. Yep, that's the plan, Dreamer. So try to stay that way. Paul's helped me out a lot with that. Sometimes he knows he knows it too. He knows that sometimes he can be annoying to me because I'm not used to somebody pushing me to do things like, come on, we got to go. Come on, we got to do this. Come on, we got to do that. Because I've always been the type of person, I do things at my pace, when I want to, the way I want to, how I want to. And Paul knows that, but he also knows he's trying to push me more to do better. And I want to do better, but at the same time, I want to do better my way. So we butt heads a lot on that kind of stuff. Like he woke up, he woke up and jumped out of bed. So Paul is a jump out of bed and go kind of guy. I'm a get out of bed, stumble around for an hour before I decide what I'm going to do. Then start to get ready, and then take like an hour to get ready because, I can't find this pair of pants or can't find this shirt or, well, in the middle of this, I discover this needs to be done here, and I do that, just kind of slowly getting myself together for the day. Paul jumps out of bed, looks right at the map and says, come on, we got to go drive. I'm like, dude, I've been up like a half hour and I'm ready to go nowhere. He said, well, come on, we're going driving. I'm like, dude, you heard me. I'm not ready to go. You go. You go. I know, it's a surge. I'm going to miss a ride or two. I'll be okay. Paul doesn't like to miss rides. That's his thing. He hates to miss a ride completely. When he's been staying here like almost every weekend, coming down the drive, when he gets hungry in the evening, he calls me up and say, Dave, you hungry? I'm like, yeah, kind of, He'll say, well, tell you what, man, Get in the car, start heading to campus. I'll tell you where to meet me. I'm like, all right. He's trying to do this in between rides. Like, what he does is he's trying to line things up in between his rides. So he'll say, okay, drive towards here and wait there for me, and I'll tell you where to go if I need to go anywhere else. So I'll go there. He'll meet me. He'll hand me his debit card, and then he'll tell me where he wants me to go get food. So now I'll go there. I'll go through the drive-thru, order the food, use his card to pay for it, and then call him up or text him and say, hey, I'm done. I got the stuff. Where you want to go? He'll say, okay, head on to campus and head towards this location. And that's where I go. And then sometimes he asks me, change me, like the last minute. I get there, and then he texts me just as I'm pulling up and says, hey, go here. But Paul, I just got to where you told me to go. All right. And then I'll meet him over there when he drops his ride off or whatever, and then I'll hand him his food through the window and hand him his card back, and then I'll go home and eat myself. And he does that just because he doesn't want to miss a single ride at all, ever. I'm one that I'll turn the app off to go to the restaurant. You know, I'm not worried about missing a ride or two, unless it's like heavily surging. Like if it's a real big heavy surge, I'm not gonna. I don't want to miss anything then. I don't like to. It kind of hurt me yesterday morning that it was surging double digits, and I was just like, I ain't ready to go yet. I was conflicted. So I didn't get everything done on the truck I wanted, but I said, as soon as the surge dies, then I'm going to go home and get the stuff done on the truck I want and come back out. So when it surges after the darties are over. But I guess it kind of surged all the way through the darties. And I missed a lot of that. I probably would have been around 600 last night if I hadn't have missed those few hours in the afternoon getting the headlights situated. But that needed to get done. I couldn't drive without headlights at night. I was surprised I didn't get pulled over by a cop on Friday night not having any working headlights. And I drove right past. One of them was sitting in the same spot all night long monitoring a stop sign to make sure people were stopping at it. He was monitoring that stop sign all night long Friday night, and I came by him both directions, coming and going probably 20 times. No headlights on at night. He didn't say a thing. But now last night, I was on my way to pick somebody up, and I went by a stop sign. I went to it. I didn't stop all the way completely. I didn't come to a complete stop. And I was looking at the same time. I knew the stop sign was there, but I was busy looking at my GPS, looking at my app to see where the rider's dot was on the app. And I'm trying to look around to see if I can locate the rider and where she's at, because I couldn't figure it out because it was like she was moving all over the place. And I guess it was getting a bad signal on her end. And it was bouncing her all over the place. And I'm looking around for her or whatever. I didn't come to a complete stop at the stop sign. I turned right on this street to go to where she was at, like right at the other end of this little short half block. And I guess there was a cop behind me. As soon as I turned that corner, she popped the lights on me, pulled me over. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? I didn't know I did anything wrong. I was like, she got out and she came up and she says, is there a reason why you didn't stop at that stop sign back there? I'm like, I thought I did. And she goes, no, you slowed way down and almost stopped, but then you kept going. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I won't let it happen again. And she wants the license and registration and everything else. Well, in that meantime, my rider canceled. Another one pinged in. I accepted that ride. I'm still sitting there forever. That ride canceled. Another one pinged in. And right after that one pinged in, she comes up to things. So I'm just going to give you a warning. I'm like, all that time to give me just a warning? Yeah, I failed to come to a complete stop. That was her thing. I almost stopped, but I didn't. They used to call that a California stop where I live, but I don't know if that's what they call it anymore. But there's so many people that don't completely stop at stop signs. If I pull up there and there's no other traffic in any of the other three directions, why do I need to stop completely? Yeah, I'll go back to watching the live view again. I was watching my Facebook view, and I'm like, why isn't my thing matching up with what I'm doing? I didn't realize I was looking at it on Facebook instead of through OBS. Oh, my neighbors are outside. Hope it ain't raining tomorrow. It rained last night. I got to get new wipers on my car, too, on that new car, too. It rained for the first time since I had it last night. I put them wipers on. All it did was just smear water across the windshield in like curved lines. Just smeared it, and I'm like, oh, this ain't good. Had to drive the rest of the night with it just smearing water across the windshield. So, some of that 900 is going to some fresh wiper blades for front and the rear, because the rear wiper doesn't come on at all until you put it in reverse. Then when you go to back up, the rear wiper comes on and off. Well, every time you hear that rear wiper come on, you know it because you hear it going right across the window. The blade is just across that window. So I guess I need a new blade in the back too. And buy some of them good Rain-X ones that last like a long time. I'm also going to, once I get the car washed, I'm going to dry those windows off, and I'm going to put actual Rain-X on the windows too. That'll help a lot. I remember when that stuff came out. I said, I wonder if this stuff works as good as it does on TV. And I put it on my car, and sure enough, it does. And I've never driven another car since that I didn't put Rain-X on the windows. But you got to do it right. If not, you get like, they're not like streaks, but it's like, you can see, like, you know, like if you're trying to rub something oily or something and wipe it off, and it still leaves like it's not a streak. I don't know what to call it. It's just like just a mark there that when the light shines in, it causes like rays of light to shoot off of like a street light that then shoots off curved rays of light off the street light and stuff. Yeah, like almost like you're rubbing an oily film around. If you don't buff it off right, you'll get that. And so it takes some time to put Rain-X on right. And so that's the two things I got to do this week. I got to detail the car inside, because there's still some stuff like the kids spilled some like orange juice or something on the walls and the inside, and that plastic just needs to be washed down really good. The carpets need, I'm not going to say they need shampooing because they're black carpets, but they definitely need a good vacuuming. At least it doesn't smell the way a car or a minivan that's had 100,000 miles and kids in it. At least it doesn't smell like that. It smells good in it smells real good in my van. Actually, a lot of people got in my van this weekend. Man, it smells really good in here. That's because I use blunt spray. I don't smoke weed, but I use blunt spray as an air freshener because that stuff lasts forever. And it'll kill off any scent whatsoever that might be in there. I like it better than I do Febreze, because Febreze, yeah, it covers up the odor for like 2 hours, and then you smell it again. Not blunt spray. And blunt spray, that shit's permanent. You'll still be smelling that stuff 3 weeks from now. Yes, Beth, Rain-X is the bomb. I'm telling you. If y'all have never had it put on your car before and put on properly, you can drive in a downpour without wipers on at all. I mean, it's just that good. As soon as the water hits the windshield, it flies right off. The wind from the car driving just blows the water right off your windshield as soon as it hits. It's the best stuff ever. I used it back in 93, 94 when I started my own detail business. I started to use my own. I detailed professionally as a private contractor to a detail shop in Dover, Delaware, that did almost all of the used cars for all of the big dealerships in Dover. They had a contract with my boss, I guess you want to call him. They had a contract with him with our shop that we would go pick up their used cars that they were going to resell. They would leave us a list, and they'd leave us the keys for them in an undisclosed lockbox that we knew where it was. And we'd go and grab a car, each one every morning, and we'd come back and we'd detail it. Take all day to detail, and you take it back, and I got $120 a car. And so that's what I started charging when I started my own business, was about $120 a car. Hello, Dawn Marie. Beth, you can buy blunt spray in gas stations. Gas stations, smoke shops. It's these little bottles of air freshener. They're like that big. And hold on, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me pull some up. I'll show you the one I actually use. It's on Amazon. You can buy it like a whole pack of it on Amazon. Go to all departments. All departments. Blunt spray. There we go. You can also use it in oil diffusers because it's pretty much oil-based. I use, there's a brand called Blunt Power is what I use, and I can buy that in the gas station locally for like $3 a bottle. And I use the Cool Water scent, like the Cool Water cologne. That's the scent that I use. You can get it in all kinds of smells and everything, but I prefer the Blunt Power brand. Because it's just the best. Oh, there we go, 47 cents. Okay, let me go back over here to OBS. Go to window capture, put it up top. There we go. And that's what I use. Let's see. You can get it in all of those scents. But I prefer to use the, oh, they don't have it up there. They did have the Cool Water. It's called Cool Water type. Unless they changed the name of it. It's probably Cool Blue now because they probably got in some trouble or something. Maybe not. There's probably somewhere up here where I ordered it before. There it is, right there. Uncheck, uncheck. There it is. Those 3 bottles will last probably a year. You don't need a lot of it. Just like 3 sprays of it in that whole minivan, and it'll smell good for like weeks. I mean, when you first spray it, it's really strong, but it takes a couple hours, and then the scent kind of settles into the carpets and stuff. And then what happens is, as people get in and out and walk around and move around in it and stuff, it stirs that scent back up. You see, I last purchased it May 3rd, 2021, and I'm just using up my last bottle of it now. Oh, and you got 3 over here. New 3 from $13.99, free delivery for Prime members. So I can go over here, right there. Free delivery for Prime members. Sold by the actual company. Oh, $15.29 now. It went up. Isn't that nuts? That's the same one. What? That makes no sense. $13.99, free delivery for Prime members. Ships from the same company, Amazon, sold by the same company. And if I click add to cart, let's see what happens. Go to cart. Okay, $13.99 with free delivery. Cool. Oh, temporarily out of stock. Isn't that wonderful? But this one is not temporarily out of stock. I bet if I click add to cart on that one, it's not. Oh, you can get a 5 pound. Oh, it's baby powder scented. Never mind. Wait. I added that other one to cart, did I not? Oh, I didn't. I didn't refresh my cart. That's why. Refresh. Okay, yeah. See, that one's in stock, but shipped from somewhere else. But it doesn't look like free shipping. And because I don't want to give up my address, I'm not going to click proceed to checkout. Yeah, you can buy it at gas stations, Beth. I mean, it's sold all over the place. I'm pretty sure somewhere here on Amazon you can actually buy the you can actually buy a whole like display box of it. You might even be able to buy it at Sam's Club. I didn't think about that. Sam's Club or Costco might sell it if you have a membership for either one of them. I mean, I'm not sure exactly why a business would use blunt spray, but you never know. Maybe a dispensary so that their whole place doesn't smell like pot smoke all the time. Are they even allowed to smoke in dispensaries? I don't know. Are the people that work in dispensaries allowed to smoke in the dispensary? Or does that depend on the state? I don't know. I don't live in a place where dispensaries are a thing, so. Well, not yet anyway. It's going to be soon. They did pass medical here finally. I don't know if we have dispensaries in state yet or not. Maybe they do in some of the counties, but there's none around here. Because I'm pretty sure if there was a dispensary around here, it'd probably be the same vape shop, smoke shop that I go to get my vape. Because only the one little corner of their shop is set up for vaping. And then they have like one little part of a wall on the other side of the store that's the disposable vapes. And then beside that section is all of the Delta 8, Delta 9, THE 0, whatever. I don't know. So, you know, the THC CBD stuff that's legal is all in that corner. The rest of the store is all just pot paraphernalia. So it's like, you know, you walk in there and you can smell it. I mean, it's because they're hitting that Delta 8 and stuff behind the counter, and it does smell like weed when you vape that stuff. And so they're in there vaping those Delta 8 and Delta 9 pens, and you can smell weed when you walk in the door. But I guarantee if any place in Tuscaloosa was going to end up being a dispensary, it would be that place. They won't let us have growers. Well, how are they getting the pot for the medical then? Are they shipping it in from like Colorado or something? Are they contracting out from growers out of state to bring it in? Are you saying that you would you'd use up all the profit, Beth? Oh, you can't do the smell? Oh, yeah. That's the same with me. That's why I used to. I mean, I used to be the biggest pothead in my town. Like when I was like 21, like everybody in town knew they could come to my house, and there was usually some at my house, usually packed in the bowl in the bong that I kept in my living room. But that was a long time ago. Yeah, I got to the point where the smell and the taste of it gagged me, and I just can't. I can't be around somebody who's doing it. I just can't. Oh wow, that's kind of funny. They pass medical marijuana, but then they don't have a way to actually obtain the product to sell. Leave it to Alabama to do shit pass backwards. You know what? I never got the munchies. Never. They're saying looking for growers, but they won't let you have growers. Well, that doesn't make any damn sense. Hell, if I learned how to cultivate pot, I'd apply to be a grower. You know how much money you make being a grower? My God. That's a lucrative business. Maybe I need to do some YouTube searching and learning how to grow pot. Get myself on some government watch list somewhere. Do not Google that. I know there's a lot to it when you're trying to grow that stuff. It's kind of like a really sensitive type of plant to try to grow and get it right compared to like tomatoes. Tomatoes are pretty easy. Plant them, grow them, pick the tomatoes. Speaking of, I've got peppers that I need to get ready to transplant to bigger cups. My hot peppers are ready to transplant over to solo cups now. And then I need to go get the plant food and start feeding them properly. I've been watching a lot of YouTube on how to grow hot peppers. You use one that's high in nitrogen and low in the other three things, and that tells the plant to grow, get size, get bigger, get taller. You know, more leaves, more stems, everything. And then when you're ready for it to start producing fruit, you then change the food up and you feed it lower nitrogen and higher of the other things to tell it, okay, I want you to put fruit out now. I want you to fruit for me. I want you to make it nice and big and juicy fruits. And that's what it does. And then when you're ready to stop a harvest, you then go back to feeding it the other stuff and just maintaining it. You don't really want it to grow much higher, so you keep pruning it a little bit, you know, here and there if you don't want it to get real big. And then you can just keep it growing year round. And then when you're ready for it to fruit again, you start adding more of the other blend. See, what most people do is they plant them out. They plant them indoors, move them outdoors, until they're ready to harvest, and then they harvest them. And when they're done with their harvest for the year, then they harden them off and take them back indoors and try to keep them over the winter so they can take them back out in the summer or in the spring and put them back out and get another harvest out of them. Sometimes they say you can get up to 3-4 harvests off one plant that way. But Dawn Marie, you do not want this jelly, trust me. Hello, Diane. You do not want the jelly from these peppers. I got some seeds for some 7-pot Primo, which are the guy who developed the 7-pot Primo developed it before Ed Curry developed the Carolina Reaper. The 7-pot Primo is a little pepper. It's probably about that big around, little tiny thing, and it's got a long scorpion tail off the bottom of it. And it's never actually been tested. I think he privately tested it but never released the results or whatever to see what the Scoville units on it were. However, when Ed Curry released the Scoville units for the Carolina Reaper, and it was officially granted world record status as the hottest pepper on the planet, there was a bit of controversy there because they look so much alike that Tony Primo is not exactly sure that Ed Curry didn't just steal the seeds, plant them, and release the info. Ed Curry says his Carolina Reaper is a mixture between something else and a 7-pot Primo, but it's not 100% 7-pot Primo. But they both have very similar Scoville numbers, so unless you want Carolina Reaper jelly, I can try to figure out how to make that. Because that's essentially what it would be. What I'm planning on doing actually with these, I'm going to grow them and harvest them and pick them, and I'm going to make fermented hot sauce with them. Or at least that's the plan. And I got some catnip growing. I bought one of those little things at PetSmart of the catnip, you know, little thing you can grow it yourself. And it had some plants in it. Well, them plants were almost dead, right? So I bring it home and I'm watering it. And I picked out all the scraggly little junky ones that were there. And the ones that that left there, they still didn't make it. I didn't think they did anyway. And I watered it just to see what would happen. And I just left it sit there. Next thing you know, I'm getting more little sprouts. And I was really surprised. I'm like, man, check that out. It's like, this is working. Like, I'm growing catnip. And it came back to life. And now that little square container like that has got 2 vines of catnip coming off like that long on either side of it. And, oh, it's going to be great. I can't wait till I get actual buds on it that I can pick the buds off and give them to Hank and Aria and see how they like them. Because when I lived up in North Dakota, the woman that I dated most of the time up there, she had a cat just like Hank. Same mannerisms, everything. The cat, but that cat was 13. And that cat loved catnip, like the ground up stuff or even like the meowjuana dried buds you could give her. We went to a friend's house, and the friend said, well, I've got catnip growing out here by the fence. I'll just go out there and pick you a bunch of the buds and put them in a bag for you so you can take them home. So we took them home, and I gave one to Pookie. And when I did, that cat, I've never seen that cat. 13 years old, used to just lay around the house lazy. As soon as I put that stuff on the floor and she smelled it, she took off running like a crackhead. I mean, she got the zoomies for like an hour off one little sniff of it, of a fresh bud. You mean, okay, hurry back. What? Oh, AFK for a minute, taking the dog. Okay. Y'all, my brain ain't functioning today. I woke up at like 11 o'clock. Paul said he was going to get up this morning. He said he had a ride to do to Birmingham, and then he might come back and drive tonight, but it's been raining all day, so I didn't think he was going to drive tonight anyway. But he didn't get up early. And then he came out and he was like, yeah, my ride canceled. I'm like, oh, okay. And he was up. I think he had like ate a bowl of cereal or something. And then, or he Pop-Tart or something. And then he sat down and he went back in the room. He said, I'm going to go back in and lay down now. I'll get up at 3. If I'm not up at 3, wake me up. Well, I got caught up in stuff I was doing and things I needed to do. And I just completely missed 3 o'clock. And, I went in and woke him up at like 4:30. I'm like, dude, you missed 3 o'clock. I'm sorry, my fault. He's like, oh, damn. And he went back to sleep. He woke up like just before about a half hour before I was supposed to go live. And he came out. He said, you want to help me bring my stuff out to the truck? I'm like, yeah. I said, you taking off? He's like, yeah, I got to go back home. I won't be back next weekend, though. I was like, okay. And he said, so I guess he's gone now for the week. So like I said, he's the get up and go kind. I can't just wake up and just function. I wish I could. I wish I could be like everybody else and just wake up and function, but I can't. Like, for me to be to work on time between 7 and 7:30, I've got to be up at like 5:45. Because if I wake up and have to rush out of the house, I am no good all day. For one, I feel rushed all day long. Like, if I wake up at if I was to get up at like 6:30 to be to work at 7, I would feel rushed all day long. Even if I'm ahead, I would feel rushed, like I'm late for something all day long. And I don't like that. Especially now that I know I got high blood pressure. I've got to start not letting things get to me like they have before. Learning how to calmly deal with things. Because if not, I'm going to end up stroking out and y'all ain't going to have me around no more. My blood pressure was ridiculous high when I went and had that kidney stone. I mean, I had... That scared me. I will be honest, that scared me when she said your blood pressure is 229 over 120. I was scared. And then when the doctor gave me some stuff to bring it down in my IV, and I was laying there for like 6 hours with, you know, no activity whatsoever, so everything had returned back down to like its normal rate, I was still 170 over 100. Which reminds me, I gotta get my blood pressure medicine refilled tomorrow. I'm on my last pill. I take my last one tomorrow morning, so I've got to call in my refill. Oh, that's hydrocodone. Amlodipine Besulate, 10 milligram tablets. Take 1 tablet by mouth every day. 2 refills before 1/6/26. Wait, does Walgreens refill it automatically when it knows you're running out and then notify you that they refilled it? I don't remember. Or is that something you have to tell them to do when you pick it up the first time? I don't know. I'm not used to being on meds, y'all. I still have to follow up with a doctor. Like, he gave me, when they let me out of the hospital, after they let me out of the ER that night, he gave me a paper with, like, you need to follow up with a doctor, blah, 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 blah. And I have yet to even call a doctor and make a follow-up appointment, which I really need to do. Just haven't had time to. I can't picture taking another day off of work, because every time I take a day off of work, then I'm rushing at the end of the month to try to get my stops done. It's like I can't afford to take a day off of work because I won't get my job done at the end of the month, and then I'll get wrote up for not getting it done, but I need to take the day off of work to be able to go to the doctor. You know, I don't get it. I love my job. I love my job. I'm still trying to hold out until I can get on that other position, because I guarantee that other position won't be nearly as stressful and mentally taxing as this one is. The work itself in this is not mentally taxing. That's easy. A trained monkey can do the work. It's all of the scheduling and trying to stress out because you've got to get all of these stops done this month, and you've got to get them all scheduled yourself, and you've got to make sure they're done by a certain date. And if you don't have at least this much of it done by, you know, the end of the first week, then you're stuck working Saturday. You know, that kind of thing. I just it stresses me out too much. And the other position doesn't have that stress that goes with it. It's just a really simple job. Go in and inspect, find problems, try to sell them what they need, and document your inspection. Because you're actually there to do the inspection. Because they have to do that every year as part of their contract with, not contract, but part of their agreement with the Centricon is a yearly inspection. But it's always a good sales opportunity if you show up there and they don't and you see stuff that's like, oh yeah, you got conditions conducive to mosquitoes. We offer a mosquito service. Oh, okay. They'll send you a text if you ask for one. Okay. The kratom I'm gonna keep going with. That I don't see being a problem. But the monster, yeah, I get it. I completely understand the monster needs to go. That's a hard one to break though. The monster's hard to break. The Mountain Dew needs to go too, but you know, I know it does. I don't drink as much of it as I used to. I don't live off of it anymore like I used to. Well, what am I kidding? Yes, I do. Because that's all I end up drinking anyway. I just don't. I go without a lot more often. Like, if I run out, I run out. Most of the time. Most of the time when I run out, it's at a point in time where I don't feel like getting up to go anywhere else. So I don't go anywhere else. I just sit here and do without anything to drink. Because I hate water. I hate straight water. Ugh. There's no flavor. And then you can buy like Crystal Light packets, but to me, it's not the same flavor. If they made Mountain Dew flavored powder for water, I would drink the shit out of that. I think I did. I don't know if I did tell them or not. I don't know. I just didn't know that if you just turn in a prescription that has like 3 refills, if I don't say anything, do they just still automatically just refill it and then say, hey? Because I know I was getting calls from Walgreens Pharmacy on my last phone number I had. I was getting calls all the time from Walgreens Pharmacy telling whoever used to have the phone before me that their meds were ready at the pharmacy. And so I'll call it in tomorrow then and say, hey, look, I need to get this refilled. I'll swing by it when I get off work and pick them up. Maybe should have had them refill a little earlier just in case they're like, we're right out of that right now. We'll get some next week. Okay, I'll do that. I may have done. I think you do that on a little touch screen when you're picking it up. There may be a little box you check or something, or it asks you if you do. Would you like text reminders on this, and then you can put your phone number in, if I remember correctly, when I picked them up. And I think I did do that. Or she asked me, and I told her yes. I can't remember, but I remember something about that when I got them filled. Right the night that I got out of the emergency room and I went to get them filled. I remember something about that when I did. So Doodle-doo. Oh, this is turning out so nice. Man, my camera moved or something because it's not picking up the bottom half of my canvas there. There it is. That's strange. Let me refresh that screen. There it is. Up there on the left side where it said Dreamer Craft Corner $5, it was missing the purple background on it. Beth has 2 pups now. They're both around 50 pounds and nothing but muscle and pull. Oh my Lord, where'd you get a second one? Beth isn't the cat lady. Beth is the dog lady. My son got a pug. My son Wayne, my oldest one, he's got a pug now. Speaking of, I have not even logged into Call of Duty in forever. Shit, I need to get on there and start playing some more. I'm probably missing out on all kinds of cool stuff. And MLB The Show 24 is ready for pre-order. I need to pre-order that so that I get it this year when it comes out. And I'm not 4 months behind in getting it, and everybody else has already collected all the cards from the first part of the game that I can't get anymore because the programs for getting them are over with. And I've got to buy the tickets for the Steel Panther show in Birmingham on the 21st. So much I got to do. But yeah, I've got to go see Steel Panther. They're awesome. I've just discovered them in like the last couple years, and they're a really cool band. They're the 80s hair band that just never grew up. She's half German Shepherd, quarter Pit, and quarter Husky. Oh, wow. The Husky scream and talk back voice. I love the Husky sounds. There's that. Have you seen the lady on, is it TikTok or Facebook? I think she's got she's got like Facebook Reels and YouTube Shorts and TikToks, all of these. Like, she's got like 3 Huskies. And she just documents them talking to her and singing and everything else. One of them sounds like a siren, and it's so funny. And then there's another lady who's from somewhere here in Alabama. She has a bunch of Chihuahuas, and she has them all different names, and all of them, everybody knows, everybody who's a fan of her just knows the names of the dogs by heart. I don't, but I do know that the one the page is named after is Chaco the Macho Chihuahua. Facebook, look her up. It is hilarious. Chaco is so cute. Love Chaco. I've been following Chaco the Macho Chihuahua for years. But she's from here in Alabama. I think, matter of fact, I know that if you order the calendar that they put out for Chaco the Macho Chihuahua, it's a Northport address, which is right here outside of north part of Tuscaloosa, is the other side of the river is Northport. Anybody who's not familiar, so she's obviously from Northport area. So that's kind of cool. She's kind of like Facebook famous. Yeah, come on. I love listening to Husky's vocals. They're they're just every single one of them has a different personality. Like, I mean, just completely different. Well, hello, Dawn Marie, and see you later, Dawn Marie. Have a good night. Sorry you couldn't stick around a little longer. I'm thinking of that. I've only got like 15 minutes left. Damn, it's been 2 hours already. Damn. It's just been an exciting week, y'all. I just had a lot to say, and I had a lot happen. It's been pretty fun. Don't have any good drunk people stories yet, though. We'll get some. We'll get there. I got 3 more months to get some more drunk people stories built up. So y'all tune in every week, and I'll tell you some more drunk people stories. Look at that. In that 2 hours, I finished that whole section there. I don't know if I still have any more of this color left anywhere else. I'm sure I do. I always do. Maybe not. First glance around, I'm not seeing anymore. How strange. Got a train going by out there. I can hear that. This town and the damn trains, man, I'm telling you. Especially when you're an Uber driver and you try to get somewhere and the train is what cuts the south end of campus off from anywhere else. But there's like one housing area that's just on the other side of the tracks. And there's like two sets of tracks that run simultaneously side by side. So when one train is coming one direction and the other train's coming the other direction, one of them has to stop and let the other one pass by. And never fails that these 2.5 mile long trains stop as they're coming through town and block every single intersection all the way through town. But there is one way around. You have to like do a U-turn, go back, go down the street about, 3 blocks, and then you go over the 2nd Street Bridge, and that takes you over top of the train tracks. It takes you to the other side. But, by the time you get out of line, go around, get up over the bridge, then the one that you've been sitting there waiting on stopped starts moving and has already moved out, and you're like, really? Did all that for nothing? But see, we have a major rail yard, like just west of the main part of town, like the west side. There's a major, like northwest side, I guess you want to call it, of town. There's a major rail yard over there. And so where I work, my actual, it's Stark, and where I worked at VO, they're literally like a block apart diagonally. And both of those places, theoretically, and I've had it happen one time, is you can actually get either blocked in at work and can't get out in any direction because there's train tracks on all sides, and all of them could have a train on them at the same time, which I've had happen once. But yeah, theoretically, you could either not be able to get to work or be able to get home from work because of trains. I almost thought about picking cross stitch up the other day again and just haven't had time because I got so much going on. I actually thought about pulling it out and starting to do some. Because I've got both of those Carolyn Mannings to work on still. And I've still got that sunset picture one to do. And I've got a ton of cross-stitch patterns. Some of them are like really big and complex that, I'm not even going to start on them. They're like full coverage, like massive pieces that like thousands of stitches. So I don't know yet. This is Tuscaloosa we're talking about here, Beth. This town has got more money than it knows what to do with because of the university being here, but yet the roads are horrible. The crime is getting worse. Was it Monday, I think? Yeah, Monday. Last weekend, I was home. Monday, I got up in the morning, went out to my truck to get ready to leave to go to work. And it was kind of sunny. So I went to go put my sunglasses on, and they weren't in my truck. In fact, when I got in my truck, my center console was open. The things that were in the center console were laying in the passenger seat. The glove box was open, and the stuff that was in the glove box was in the floor. The only thing missing was my $700 Oakley prescription sunglasses and my knife that I use for cutting chemical jugs so that we can be compliant with the law. I have to rinse out, like when I empty the thing of insecticide, I've got to rinse the jug out 3 times, triple rinse it, and then I've got to slice the bottom of the jug from one side to the other to make sure it can't be reused. And the knife that I used for that was missing, along with my Oakleys, which the Oakleys are really bothering me because that's, like I said, $700 I paid out of pocket for those. When I worked for VO, their insurance, their vision insurance paid for about, well, their vision insurance mixed with LensCrafters sale they had going on at the time brought them down to half price, and I paid $700 out of pocket. They're normally $1,400 to have a set of Oakleys done in your own prescription. So those are gone. Somebody just walking around the parking lot out here pulling door handles, seeing if they could find anything unlocked, and sure enough, they found my stuff unlocked. It's the first time for everything. It just happened to hit me really hard that time. I have not touched any of my cross stitch since I worked at VO. And seeing as how this past Thursday was my 1-year anniversary at this company, yeah, it's been about a year since I picked up my cross stitch. A little over a year. I go through phases, I guess. I go through phases of everything. Like, I went through a phase of cross stitch. Right now I'm in a phase of diamond painting, even though I don't do it every day when I get home from work or anything. But that's about the only hobby thing I work on right now. And I went through that phase of playing Xbox like all night, every night for like several months. And while I still enjoy doing that, I got back into the diamond painting and watching you just coming home and watching YouTube because I just don't feel like doing anything else. I just want to sit here and veg out on the TV. And I've gotten out of the phase of playing Call of Duty and playing games, which I need to get back into because that's, got a lot of people in there that depend on me being online with them, They look forward to coming on and playing with me. So I don't know what to do. I'm not good at managing time and splitting it up between hobbies and interests and things. I can only be doing one thing at a time, it feels like. I don't know how to do more than one thing at a time. Like, I want to build models, but where am I going to fit that in between playing PlayStation, diamond painting, cross-stitching, doing Uber, going to work? Wait, what? Where am I going to fit all this in? I can't leave the model set up out here on the desk because I have cats. So I can't just finish a little bit, leave it set there until I'm ready to mess with it again because I have to pack it all up and put it all away, which means I don't get a chance to really do a lot of the stuff I'd like to do because I got to wait for glue to dry or I got to wait for paint to dry or something like that. If I had my separate craft room that I could do stuff like that in and just keep the door closed and keep the cats out, I would love that. I would love to have my own house. That's what I want. I need my own house with like a third bedroom. It's just nothing but like a craft room / game room / streaming room. Everything I do, like as a hobby, gets done in that room. That's what I need. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining that Paul comes down. I'm not complaining a bit that he comes down. It's kind of nice having the company here. I mean, to be honest with you. So him using Pam's old room back there, the other spare bedroom I have is fine. But if he wasn't coming down all the time, that would be my room. I would definitely run my cable from my for my cable internet hookup. I would run a cable back to the bedroom back there, and that's where I would put the TV and the Xbox, or I might even get a separate. I don't know now. Well, yeah, I could do a separate one because I could still run Wi-Fi out here and use something out here. But I can't play. I can't play the Xbox on Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi speed is only like 500 megabits per second, where I'm getting gigabit internet if you hardwire. So I need to have the Xbox hardwired to the internet. And I prefer to play it on this big screen, but if I could get like a smaller desk to put in there, like a gaming desk, and a good 120 hertz monitor on the desk, and then I could play my PlayStation on that, or play the Xbox on that, and then I would set that room up for streaming so that my background, it was like all LED lights going down the corners, and like a most of your streamers you see are lit up with LEDs in the background and everything. And it would be permanently set up for streaming. Then I wouldn't have to worry about taking it all down, moving it out of the way to do this and that. It's apartment living sucks. It's good in one way because I ain't responsible for none of the maintenance costs here. So if something breaks, I just call somebody to come fix it. I don't pay anything for that. Having my own house, it's out of my pocket. And I'm not going to rent a house around here for what I'm paying for a month here at this apartment. But now, if I could guarantee that year round I would make on Uber what I'm making right now, if I could guarantee that I could continue that year round, I would probably go look for a house for rent that had 3 bedrooms and go rent that instead and leave this place. Because, I mean, yeah, even though it would be a little bit more, I'd have enough to pay that extra now that I'm basically doubled my income. But right now, it's only double my income from the months of September through May, or August through May. So it's not like the summertime's going to be lean. I wouldn't be able to pay my rent, Oh, that's cool, Beth. You want to build an addition on and build me an extra room back there, and I'll just come move in? Oh, and we were talking about the monster earlier. This is my first monster in like 3 weeks. I had one the day after I had the kidney stone issue, but after that, I haven't had another one. So it's probably been a month now since the last one I had. So it's not going to hurt me to have one. I was getting them, like, sometimes I was drinking 2, 3 a day. Like, I'd get up in the morning. Circle K. Circle K, if you remember the Inner Circle Rewards Club, like I am, they were running a special there for a while. You get 3 16-ounce monsters for $6. So I'd do that, and they also had a deal going with 2 Mountain Dews for $3.50. So I would go in every evening when I got off of work, and I'd stop in at Circle K, and I would buy 3 Monsters and 2 Mountain Dews. Bring them home, put them in the fridge. And I'd have one. I'd have one when I woke up in the morning. I'd take my first one to work with me. And then sometimes if I was able to stop by the house at lunchtime, I would sometimes get another one. But most of the time I would probably wait until the evening and buy another one. Or come home and have one at night when I got home. Yeah, I'm going to figure out something. I saw a house. I sprayed a house last week that it's in a really nice neighborhood in like south and southern part of Tuscaloosa. And it was really funny because the lady that owns it and her husband, they're a black couple. And she was out of town at some kind of convention or something. And he didn't really have a clue what she does as far as her business goes with the 4 houses she owns and rents. She rents 3 of them out and lives in the other one. And he's like, I don't really know what's going on. He said, I just know you're here to do pest control. What do you got to do? What do you need me for? That kind of thing. So the second house, the one right next door to theirs, there was a guy there doing pressure washing on the siding. And I went in to go spray and the house was vacant. And this is a really nice house. It's like a ranch house, like a ranch style house. It's got a covered carport, concrete driveway, fit 2 cars side by side under the carport. Nice little backyard to it. Kind of goes up on the hillside a little bit. And then the front yard is like flat for a little ways and then drops off into a hill to the road. 3 bedroom or 4, I can't remember which. 3 or 4 bedroom. Nice, just a nice house. Hardwood floors all throughout. Little brick and concrete front porch. And a nice patio in the back. And I asked him, I said, what do you normally rent this for? And he says, I really don't know. I couldn't tell you what she rents it for, but it's somewhere like $1,000 or something, I think. And I was like, man, if it's only $1,000, I might like talk to Paul and see if he thinks it's a good idea for me to move out of here and move into that. But with the money I'm making here doing Uber again, I could afford it, but that's only again through August through May. From May for June, July, and August, or June, July, and most of August, I'm kind of screwed because all I have is my regular paycheck. And my regular paycheck right now at $849 a month in rent, or $894 a month in rent, is just barely getting me by for the 2 weeks, or for the every 2 weeks, every half month. So, I don't know. It's one of those deals like I think I could be able to do it, but it worries me about not being able to for those couple of months that I'm not making the extra money. Now, maybe if I went down to Birmingham on weekends and drove on weekends down there, like Friday evening, gonna get off of work, head to Birmingham, drive, maybe stay over somewhere and sleep in my van. Shit, I got a big enough van I can fold the damn seats down and make a bed and sleep in it somewhere overnight. And then get up and drive the next day, And do Saturday down there, make, I'd probably make an extra, I wouldn't say I'd make 900 like I'm making here, but because the rides are longer down there, so you're making more per ride, but you're doing a lot less rides. You're not doing as nearly as many as you do here in Tuscaloosa, because most of the rides here in Tuscaloosa are like, anywhere from $5 to $7 rides, but you're doing 40 of them in a night. Where down there you're doing, $12 to $15 rides, but you're only doing like 10, 11 a night because they're longer rides. And it used to be the way you made money at Tuscaloosa or in Birmingham, is you went to the airport because you got you might wait in line for a while behind other drivers to get your ride, but when you got one, you were getting one that was like, 30-minute ride, 40-minute ride, and then you got a really good chance of getting long rides like Jackson, Mississippi, Clarksville, Tennessee. I've got some down to South Alabama, Atlanta. You get a lot of Atlanta because what happens is everything ends up like ending in Atlanta, but they have a stop and a layover in Birmingham because you have a limited number of flights coming into Birmingham. So a lot of times your 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock midnight flight is the last one coming in. And a lot of those are going on to Atlanta. Well, these people that are on these flights that are trying to get to Atlanta now have to stay overnight in Birmingham or in Tuscaloosa to get to Atlanta, or Birmingham, to get to Atlanta. They're only 4 hours away from Atlanta. So what they do is they hire an Uber and they get there faster than what they would if they flew by plane. And now with the way pricing is in Birmingham, it's called upfront pricing. So you don't get paid by the minute and by the mile anymore. So they just tell you what you're going to make on that that run if you do it, and you can choose to accept or decline. If you decline, then you get your acceptance rate takes a hit, and then you lose your diamond status, which isn't good. You want to keep that going. So you can't really turn down a lot of rides. So you can't like sit at the airport anymore and then hope for a really good ride, because that really good ride isn't paying nearly what it used to pay. It's not worth making that trip anymore because they're not paying you what it's actually worth. But when it was per minute, per mile, and then you add a surge on top of that, and I was making money. I made one to Jackson, Mississippi one time, one trip, and it just happened to be surging at the airport when I got the ride. Or it had surge there, and I'd picked it up, and it was like a $14 or $18 surge. And so that meant $14 to $18 on top of whatever the fare was. But if you take a long trip over a certain amount of time, it multiplies it. And I ended up getting a multiplier on that surge, and it was just a fantastic ride to Jackson, Mississippi. It was 4 hours, but it was well worth it. 4 hours one way, 4 hours back. So it was an 8-hour round trip. Luckily, I got it kind of earlier in the day, so when I got back into town, I could still drive around Birmingham the rest of the evening and still make more money. So it was a really good weekend that weekend. And I got one to Clarksville, Tennessee on Lyft one time. Picked up at Birmingham Airport, took him to Clarksville, Tennessee, and I found out that he does that quite regularly up there, but that's on Lyft, and I don't do Lyft anymore. I probably could. I'm still qualified to drive for them. I just haven't. All right, y'all, it has been 2 hours and 8 minutes. So that means it's time for me to log off of here, get my shit together for work tomorrow, maybe try to spend some time relaxing for a little bit before I have to go to bed. I probably will end up sleeping right here in this chair again tonight. It's where I've been sleeping every night. I slept in my bed for the first time in since I got these chairs in on Friday night. So that was the first time I actually used my bed since then. Right now my bed is just a whole pile of clean clothes that the cats lay in and sleep in. Yeah. So probably they're not clean clothes anymore, but they were clean when I put them on the bed. Because I'm too damn lazy to fold my laundry, so I just take it out of the washing machine, carry it in the bedroom, set it on the bed, and that's where it ends up. Only Arya sleeps in it. Hank stays out here in the living room. He's got my old chair. Paul doesn't like him being in these new chairs because he likes to use his claws, and he don't want these leather chairs getting. They're not real leather; they're pleather. But Paul doesn't like him getting, clawed up, especially his chair that's his. So my old chair that I used to have is sitting over there underneath my Metallica poster against the wall, and Hank sleeps in that one all day long now. That's Hank's spot. He's laying over there looking under the arm of the chair at me, laying there looking at me now. That's right, I'm talking about you. Yep. And then yesterday, or last night, Paul calls me last night. or yesterday afternoon. I can't remember which. He had a ride. He had to go all the way down to Landmark Apartments, which is one of the apartments I spray, and he just had to tell me about how he went to Landmark, right? So he calls and tells me, he's like, dude, I was down at Landmark. Are you going to be going to the apartment like anytime soon? I'm like, probably not. I said, I was just there a little while ago, and I said, I ain't got to pee or anything right away. He says, well, because I could use your help. I'm like, why do you need my help with? He says, well, I was at Landmark, and out by the dumpster was this giant TV, and it looks like it's in perfect shape. He said, so I picked it up before it got rained on. He said, I want to put it in the apartment. I want to see if it works. I was like, Paul, if it's sitting by a dumpster at an apartment complex, it probably don't work. He says, well, maybe somebody got evicted and they got their stuff just put out, because there was a lot of nice stuff sitting out there by it. And I'm like, okay, maybe that is a point. So now I have this giant 65-inch TV sitting in my living room and just taking up space in the living room floor. Paul brought it back here and sitting it here, so it's just taking up space. We have to order a power cord for it because it didn't have a power cord. So we got one on order from Amazon. It'll be here this week. Then we can test it out and see if it works. And if it works, I don't know. He's going to do something with it. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't fold. I wash and dry. A lot of times, if I don't have a lot of other laundry to do, I just leave it in the dryer. Just pull from the dryer if I need it. But it's gotten to where now I've been washing my work shirts. I have 6 work shirts that they issue us, and those are not picked up and cleaned by Cintas. Those are our own responsibility to pick up. Those are our shirts. We don't even have to return them if we don't want to. They're all dry fit polos. So I have to wash those every day, or like every week, because I've got 5 of them exactly. I have Monday through Friday. I got enough for Monday through Friday. If I got to work Saturday, that means I got to wear a dirty shirt, or I got to do laundry Friday night. And then it means I have to do laundry Friday night every week, or Thursday night every week, because then I'm a shirt short. Because out of those 6 shirts, one of them has to stay in my truck at all times as a fresh pair of uniform to wear in case I spill on myself or something at work. Then I have a fresh uniform to wear. So that's required by company policy to stay in my truck at all times. So I've only got 5 wearable shirts that I can wear every day. So I've got to do laundry every weekend anyway. And so anytime I do laundry nowadays, it just pulled out and lays on my bed, except for my work shirts. They just stay in the dryer because I pull from that every morning. Now, Cintas takes my pants. I've got 11 pairs of pants. So I've got to keep 1 in the truck, and that gives me 5 for Cintas to have off cleaning at a time, 5 clean ones to wear for this week, because they come every Tuesday. Here lately, I've been forgetting to turn my pants into Cintas, so I've been washing them too. Because when I wake up on Tuesday, I forget it's Tuesday, and I get to work, and the Cintas guy comes so early that if I don't take it with me when I get there to work, chances are by the time I'm already ready to leave and go out on my route, he's already been there and gone, so I don't get a chance to come back home, grab them, and bring them back. And which reminds me, right now I'm out of clean pants too, so I've got to throw them in the wash with the work shirts. But when I get off of here, so since that's the case, it's 2:14 since I started, 2 hours 14 minutes. So that means I got to jump off of here and I got to do laundry for tomorrow because I totally forgot about it today. Because I was spending this afternoon being a lazy ass, which is my prerogative, seeing that I worked all week. The last 2 nights of the week, I worked after work, and then I worked all day yesterday. So I have earned the right to be a lazy ass today. Thank you very much. And I wasn't even that lazy of a lazy ass. I actually called customers to schedule for this week, which I had to do because if not, then the boss would be on me about not being scheduled at least 3 days in advance. Yeah, but Beth, I hardly ever remember that too. Once I leave the office in the morning, I usually don't ever go back there. And by the time I get back towards this way, because I live only like 4 blocks. Well, I'm going to say 4 blocks. I live more than that. I live exactly 3/4 of a mile from work. that right down the same street. I just pull out of my parking lot, turn right out of the parking lot, go straight down that street, go all the way to Greensboro Avenue, which is about, 3/4 of a mile, and my work is right there on the right. It's not that far away. So the problem is by the time I get back up here towards this area, Ray is already locking the place up and turning the lights off. He does not hesitate and wait. Like, if you're in the building at 3 minutes to 5, you better be grabbing your stuff and running out, because he's going to lock the doors and turn the lights off whether you're in there or not. He almost did it one night. He forgot when I was in training. They put me in this like little, used to be a storage closet of some sort or whatever. It's just a small little thing. They just put a small desk in there and a computer and a chair. And that's like the training room. When you're in training and doing classroom stuff, they stick you in there and they close the door. Well, the door's got a window in it, but you really can't see that there's somebody in there when you walk by there, even through the window. You have to actually open the door and stick your head in to see them. And he just done totally forgot that I was in there, and he didn't look in ahead of time. He just walked in and shut the light off, and I'm sitting there, hey, what's going on? Ray's like, it's 5 o'clock. You better get going. I've got to almost lock you in here. Ray, if you're listening, it's all good, man. Ray does watch my show. He does watch my live from time to time, because he'll, tell me about something I said or something the next day. He's really cool. I call him Uncle Ray just because I can. There's some potato chips we have down here called Uncle Ray's potato chips, and I picked some up one day, and I didn't stop and think about it really until I got to work the next morning, and I was cleaning out my truck, and I saw the Uncle Ray's potato chip bag sitting there, and I was like, I'm going to start calling him Uncle Ray. Yep, Beth, I am hopping off of here too, so I'll be back next Sunday night, y'all. I will be here with hopefully more good Uber stories, because I plan on driving this weekend. Next weekend, I mean. I might drive some throughout the week too. I don't know yet. Just depends. I'm going to keep an eye on the app. If it starts surging, I'm going to get out there and make some money. But I will see y'all next Sunday night. And so until then, rock on, y'all. Roll Tide.